Oh really?
Yes.
Not deleted yet.
No.
Hi guys, we have Bing here.
Hi!
And yeah, we're Bing here again.
The tone.
Okay, start the car. Oh, you found it.
Am I not was that like a trick question?
No. Okay.
Oh my god.
Okay, help me engage D.
How do you engage D?
Yeah.
Oh shit. No wonder you asked me to sit in front. Ha! I found it.
Yo.
I cannot, but I'm very short.
Wow, not bad, huh?
D, right?
Yeah. So that's actually what happens to some parents when they buy a Merc and they go home and then the child is like, ah! And then don't know how to.
Wait. You said D, ah?
I nearly rammed into my car.
I help you engage R.
R. Oh.
Oh yeah. Wait, why?
Lagi. Ah. Oh, you're lucky. Boom bang!
What's the car in front? BMW. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So we have the E200, the E-Class E200, and yeah, I shouldn't put the camera here actually. Wait. Oh. Yeah, interior is nice, but this is not the angle or the camera where I'm supposed to show you the interior. I'll move you guys. Okay, I'm not sure if you can see me, but I'm sure you can see Bing. So, so what do you like about the interior?
What I like about interior? I like the display. That's the first thing I noticed.
The display,
Yes.
yeah, it's ginormous.
Yeah. Very atas.
Very atas.
Oh, this is similar to the Peugeot, which is the piano like buttons.
Ah. See, she said the E-Class is similar to Peugeot.
Wait. You
Hey, it's good. Peugeot upgraded their interior. Right? Yeah.
When you say that, I'm like,
Yeah.
did I
Why?
say something wrong?
No.
They're stressed, guys. Oh my god, they're stressed.
Wow, now this is the so-called base variant of the E-Class that is introduced in Malaysia. What are things that you don't get? You don't get the Burmester, I mean, which is pretty obvious, alright? And then there's no keyless, but there's push start. But it's just this car that doesn't have keyless. I'm not sure if the one that you guys are buying now will have it or not, because I don't have the tag. Sorry guys. Anyway, I like this material. It's a bit reflective. It is reflective, but there's the patterns over there that makes it sort of being diffused, so it doesn't like reflect direct light. So that is good. That is good. And then you have this. I don't know how many inches this. You know, this is essentially there are two screens here, and both of them are like huge. Okay, and in terms of how they are being utilized, I would say this screen on the left is being utilized better than the screen on the right, because the right one, right, essentially the whole thing is, oh my god, okay, the whole part is actually the screen area, but then they sort of limit themselves digitally by only allowing the right dial to be changed. See, if I go into navigation, you see the right dial displaying a GPS, a map, but they could have done it with a larger screen real estate instead of just limiting themselves to the dial. Because you look at Porsches, right, the dial itself is housed within an analog housing, which is a real physical housing, and then inside at the back is the LCD. But this is not limited to that, so they could have just done it. But nevertheless, because the screen is so big, right, I don't think any information can't be shown in a manner where it's easily decipherable. So how the car drives, the thing that I'm most satisfied with, right, is how they tune this car. if you watch my previous videos, right, I've drove the C200, the C200 Coupe or something like that. Those are the ones fitted with a 7-speed gearbox, and the engine remains the same, 184 horsepower. But somehow, this one, the E-Class E200, right, the pairing of the transmission and the engine, right, is done so well that at the get-go, immediately I feel the torque is there. I just came back from BMW driver training the other day. I was driving the 4 Series and all that, right? All of them has immense turbo lag, yeah, at low RPM range. But this guy here, right, it feels like, I mean, I don't mean at high speeds. What I mean with now I'm traffic light, right? If imagine I'm the first car and then I have to roll off and my foot get on the throttle, right? The car just how do I put it now? It feels like a naturally aspirated 2.5 or 3 liter engine that has that kind of torque always there ready, and then it just pushes. I don't feel the car doing some unnecessary downshifts to push itself. So that is a very, very good thing. I like that part. I like how the car moves itself. Okay, and the other thing is the drive. The car feels light, not light on its feet, but it feels light. That you don't have that cumbersome feeling of, you know, old European cars where your foot sort of goes half down and it does nothing, and then slowly it lurches a bit as you need to use more strength to depress the throttle. This one, right, it's the whole thing just feels, I don't know whether it's right to say this, but it feels like a VAG group car in terms of throttle response. As we all know, VAG group cars, right, their throttle response are excellent. Volkswagen and Audis, you prod them, the car moves. You prod them, the car moves. There's no wait, there's no hesitation, and this car somewhat feels like that, and I like it a lot because it just moves. I don't go into that mode whereby, hey, the car is considering which gear to drop to, or whether the boosts are coming or not, and all that. It just moves. Of course, as you reach higher speeds, then the fact that it only has 184 horsepower will reveal itself pretty soon. Okay, but I like, in terms of daily drive, how it moves and all that, how it wafts and all that. I like it. Now, suspension. This is an E-Class, right? It is supposed to be comfortable. Yes, it is comfortable, but in terms of suspension pliancy, in terms of how good it is in absorbing the road impurities and all that, undulations, it can do really well. Okay, in terms of road undulation, right, this car is very well behaved in terms of how its chassis, suspension and all that. But in terms of all the highway expansion joints, the small little potholes and all that, right, this loses out to the 5 Series. The 5 Series has a more composed ride. And then another thing is, when you cross over a speed bump, say for example you are rolling towards a speed bump at about 25 to 30 km/h, as you go up and then you go down in a car with very well sorted suspension, say for example the 5 Series or the Ford Focus. Okay, I always bring them up when I talk about suspension, right? They depress a bit, but the forward momentum is not being cancelled in any way. You still roll. So that means, right, it sort of downplays the reaction after you come down from the speed bump. But this guy, right, is just like my BMW 6 Series. I wouldn't say horrible, but it just doesn't take it that well. When you go up the speed bump, when you come down, you feel a very big downward and bounce back momentum. You feel that thing, and then only your car continues, can continue on. So that is something that it will give you a fear that, will I hit my underbody? Will I hit my underbody? Actually, it won't, unlike the previous E-Class, which a lot of owners complain they keep hitting their underbody. Dong, dong. They keep doing that, but this one, no. Even a really tall speed bump, I cross the whole thing, right? It gives me that fear that, will it? But actually, it never, throughout my 4 days of driving. So it's good. In terms of visibility, everywhere else is good except this part. Okay, the A-pillars here, and then you have this sort of speaker thingy. Now this was reserved because in the really high-end version with the Burmester sound system is it's an eye candy for the car. Of course, this is the base model, so this one has some plastic cover instead. With this thing here, you look at the A-pillar. The A-pillar is only here, right? But with this, and then coupled with the side mirror, you look at the side mirror. I'm not sure from your end you can see it. The housing of the side mirror sort of blends into this part, so it creates a huge blind spot over here. Yeah, there's no way I can go around it, because the housing, for aerodynamic reasons, it needs to be housed in that kind of teardrop shape. So no matter how I move my head, right, I can't see through the side mirror housing and the A-pillar. I cannot see through it. Yeah, so that's roughly how visibility goes. But overall, I'm very happy with how the car drives. Actually, it's not clumsy, it handles well. Actually, even the previous E-Class doesn't handle badly, alright? And the steering is not vague or overly light or whatever. I mean, Mercedes-Benz's, I'm okay with their steering. And another thing is, it is not as busy as the C-Class, which is a given because this is a car from a taller segment, a bigger, higher segment. But I just came back from a long drive in the Volvo S90 as well. But that one is the T6R design, which has the sport chassis. So that car is a lot more busy than this one as well. So I'm okay with this, and soundproofing is excellent. And what else? It's a very nice car to live with. So that's pretty much about how the driving experience is. And the car is not half bad when it comes to performance, but when it comes to full kickdown, I mean a full kickdown where you depress the throttle and then have that button again, and that part the car will lag. Hey, I got, ta-da! I thought I don't have. Sorry about that. I have 8 ringgit 30 cents. I want to ask you guys, if you drive a luxury car and then you pass a Touch and Go or Smart Tag, right? When you go beep beep and then it comes out like 2 ringgit or 3 ringgit, do you feel embarrassed? Do you have that feeling? I have a little bit at times. I mean, if I'm driving like another car and then I go beep beep, I get 8 ringgit, I'm okay, you know. I don't know why. Pretentious, maybe. Sometimes you see it, wow, 80 cents left, wow, the guy. See, the Kia Spectra in front, he has 48 ringgit left. I only got 5 ringgit. Yeah. Anyway, see, the car moves. Not when you do a full kick down. When you're driving and then you do a full kick down, you wait and wait. Yeah. So, yeah. I'm happy with how the car rides, how it looks from the inside. From the outside is really rather inconspicuous, because I mean, seriously, from outside it's just like, is that an S or a C? Or I felt one thing when I look at the car's exterior, right, the E-Class, when they design it, right, there are two design objectives that are larger in terms of priority than anything else. First is to keep within the new Mercedes design language. Okay, ding. The second one is try your very, very best to differentiate it from the C and the S while keeping the new design language in a strict manner. So they have to do certain things, like when you look at the rear tail lamps, right, there is a little bit of kink towards the inner side. You know, there are a little bit of nip and tuck that you kind of felt that they did it just so to not look so much like an S or a C. Yeah, that's about it. But the interior is, I would say the interior is the best balance between the C-Class and the S-Class's design, because the S-Class has a bit of a old school, luxurious, Baroque style interior design, whereas the C, the center panel that is in one piece is nice as well, but it's not as good looking as this one. This one has what I always mention, different depths in terms of how it is being represented. Alright, they choose to give up a little bit of ergonomics on certain buttons and all that, but other than that, I don't see a problem with this interior. In fact, I think, like what everybody has said, right, this is a beautiful interior. It may not be as Teutonic in terms of construction, like the new 5 Series interior, but overall the use of materials, the combination, they did it very cleverly. You just look at this portion, right? You have this pattern, I don't know, inlays here, and then you have this anodized setting chrome rims for the aircon vents, and then you have this knurled patterns, you see that? And then the gloss black, and then the soft touch plastics. Combinations are good. It makes the cabin look good, so I like it. Not bad. The door bins are huge. Compartment wise, some compartment lids, right, say for this one, the compartment lid, it feels rather cheap. And then the sunglass holder as well, the inner plastics feels rather cheap. But these are little niggles which yeah, I don't see it as a deciding factor in saying this car is good or bad. And I love the reverse camera. I've never seen a reverse camera in such detailed resolution, super duper high def. I wonder if it's a 4K reverse camera, because it just looks damn high res. And I could have done a video review using that reverse camera. And what else? Spotify integration is perfect. It is fantastic. It shows the songs and all that. One thing I really don't like is this new thing. This dark panel here, this gloss black panel here, is touch sensitive. Alright. I don't know, man. I just see, the thing with this is when you have a roller that clicks on every registration when you do a selection, right? It sort of clicks. One time means one time, right? Then you sort of, your eyes look at it, right? You need 2 clicks to reach that, then you do 2 times, then you're there. But when it's touch sensitive, right, you have to double check everything. Every time when you scroll, you have to double check whether it is registered or not. Yeah, small issues. And then the last thing, which is very personal, this is really it's not an objective observation, it's very, very subjective, is that I felt this cabin is fitted with a steering wheel that is 1 size too small, 1 inch too small in terms of diameter, because my build is not small. I'm 5'11", okay, and I'm 97 kg, so very much overweight. And I rest my elbows and all that on the door. Okay, these are things that you won't be able to see. Anyway, basically my elbows are rest on the armrest, and then my left elbow on the other armrest as well. A comfortable position, right, my hand will be like this. If I need to hold the 9 and 3 o'clock position, which means this steering, right, this size, right, I have to go down to here. So a lot of times I just felt myself doing this, and then my elbows are not rested. So it's a sporty steering wheel. Look at it, it's a very sporty steering wheel. But for this cabin, I kind of wish that if it is a slightly larger steering wheel, which some may not like, so it's a very subjective opinion. Certain cars, I remember certain cars I went in, the BMW 1 Series, they fit a steering wheel that is too large for that car. See, that steering wheel, it came straight from a BMW X5 or a 5 Series M Sport, right? They fit that exact steering wheel into the 118 Sport, which has a small cabin, so that steering wheel feels huge in that car. So yeah, those are my observations. Alright, so in terms of drive, performance is alright, handling, cornering, everything is alright. Is just that in terms of suspension, it is not as well sorted as the 5 Series. Other than that, this is a very accomplished car, very, very, very accomplished car. And I don't see, I mean, I understand why people buy it. However, think about it, the new Volvo S90 T8 is coming soon. That is sort of like top of the range S90 T8, selling at 348,000. And this car is sort of, when you buy this car about this price, right, you don't get Burmester, you don't get keyless, you don't get a lot of things, sunroof and all that. But that one comes with 400 horsepower, comes with Bowers & Wilkins sound system, comes with that pure crystal Orofor gear knob. That car is super highly spec'd. But of course, car buying isn't just about the car alone, it's about the holistic experience, right? The brand matters as well. So yeah, I don't think Mercedes will feel pressured by Volvo, but I think as car buyers, you should take a look at them. Yeah. So Bing,
Yes.
is this your first experience
In
a Merc?
Yeah.
First time?
Yeah. I think I sat in like the old ones before when I was really young.
The old ones
Yeah, really, really young.
but the new ones are fabulous, right?
Yeah. But I noticed, I'm not sure, how do you feel there? You feel a bit a bit small spacing there.
No,
Is it okay?
no, it's okay. It's okay. Just that I'm fat. it's usually just that I'm fat.
Okay.
But overall, yeah. Now, guys, over the past 4 days of driving this E-Class, of course, I've driven the S-Class, I've driven the C-Class, the AMG GT for a short while, C63 and all that, right? I think this car sort of answered all my questions at one go. Because there is nothing in this car that diverts me away from what Mercedes-Benz should be about. If you strip everything apart, at the very core of it, this is what this car resembles. I'm going to explain that further. Now, if I sat in an AMG GT, that is a super sports car, right? It is almost a supercar. It has 500 over horsepower. It's damn good looking. It is sporty. It is actually Mercedes-Benz bending themselves towards something of that segment they have to achieve, right? It is a sports car. Of course, Mercedes has a long history of making sports cars as well. But in the consumer's eyes, the main consumers, that's what my topic is about. I mean, it's not my topic, it's not even a topic, it's a thought that I have. And then if you go into the C63, it's the same thing. There's that huge 4-litre V8 engine pumping out 500 horsepower and all that. All the noise, the burble, the brr, and all that. This car has none of that, okay? It is the entry level to the E-Class, the E200. It only has 184 horsepower. So without all those distractions, as I was driving this, as I was looking at its interior, feeling the car, I sort of get what and why the current Mercedes product speaks so well to consumers. You see, when you are a luxury brand, right? Say for example, BMW is a luxury brand, right? But they are always skewed towards more sporty, more track focus. You know, it's about track, it's about that. And then you might not realize this, but BMW, in terms of their switch gear, in terms of their logic placement and all that, right? They put in a lot of consideration. All these things, where the buttons should put, how the iDrive screen should look like, the menu and all that, all this speaks to your left brain, the logical thinking part of your brain, right? Like when you are buying a bag, a luggage, right? How big it is, you know, how well the compartments are designed. All these logical thoughts appeals to our logical side of thinking, the left brain. But I kind of felt that what Mercedes is doing now, they establish their product portfolio, and I think at the core of it, right, they studied how should we present our brand, our 130-year-old luxury brand, with our products. How? And that sort of takes precedence over everything else, because as I fiddle with the command system, even the steering wheel, or the aircon vents that are slightly, you know, angled towards different areas, it's very hard to move them, or you don't have a handle, you just have to sort of, you know, use this part, figure it out yourself, all these knobs and how these buttons are placed and all that. I kind of felt one thing: they care, but they don't care that much that it affects how they present themselves. Because at the core of it now, without all those distractions, right, they want every one of their products to be able to represent themselves. Who are we? What is Mercedes-Benz all about? Right? I think they are an avant-garde luxury brand. Okay? Yes, it might not be that convenient, but we don't care. This is how we present ourselves. This is the brand being confident about who they are, what they represent. That's how it is for now. I mean, if you look at a Birkin bag, right? A Birkin bag with that two straps hanging out there, it's damn inconvenient. You have that center lock there, you need to strap the two things in here, and after it's presented in that way, it's damn difficult to take your things out. It's almost impossible. So everyone just leave them open, dangling that way. Is it convenient? It's not convenient at all, but that is what they are. They keep it that way. They want you to know that we are so confident with our products that you should adjust your usage behavior to our products. That's why they keep the gear stock here, right? This is who we are, this is what it is. All these things, you better get used to it. If not, you are not qualified to drive our cars. That's what I felt about the new Mercedes-Benz brand or product idiom. This is what it is, yes. Because there are a lot of little things that you just felt, that's not the best way, but they don't care. And they are confident about it. See? So, I mean, it's not that this is super far off, you know, some left field, Saab doing their quirky things and all that. It's not like that. But I kind of felt that they are focused deeply into attracting your right brain, the emotional part of yourself. You sit in their car and then you feel, wow, you know. And as I was driving it, right, the brake pedal is too offset to the left. It's too offset to the left. I would love it to be slightly more centered. And then you have the left foot footrest that is too small. You know, all these little things that I may complain about, but nevertheless, as I'm sitting here looking at what constitutes my point of view, because as I was sitting here, not only I'm looking at the roads outside, the entire dash makes up part of my horizon as I'm sitting here, my vantage point. These are part of the things that I see, and I kind of felt that it makes my world prettier with all this here accompanying the outward vision that I'm seeing. And somehow it makes you feel more expensive, makes me feel more dignified, more luxurious. And I think the interior review, this alone can sum up this car. You know, it is a car that makes you feel the sense of occasion by the way they designed it. It doesn't drive half bad. I can go back to the technical part of it, you know, how the steering wheel grips. It's a bit like the 5 Series steering, very nice, squidgy feel, very good grip to it. Yeah, but all this doesn't matter. At the end of the day, I'm sitting in this E-Class and I feel I've achieved something. That's how it makes you feel. And I think that's important. That's more important than the lap times. That is more important than what are the G figures that is able to pull. It's more important than all of that. How the menus are, I mean, of course, the command system, the visuals look beautiful. They look beautiful. There's no doubts about it. And yeah, that's what the E-Class is all about. You're there. You can go higher, but you're already there. That's how it makes you feel. And the seats, right, they don't look like much, but I mean, a lot of people might shoot me down on this. I think they're more comfortable than the seats in the Volvo S90. The S90 has a beautiful looking seat and it has a lot of things going on there. I can pull this out and all that, but somehow, right, it doesn't feel like a comfortable lounge to me. It feels like a very snug fit. Is it a bucket seat? It's sort of buckety in its design, you know. But this one, right, as I sat here, it feels just right. And yeah, the entire dash, right, everything is set super low. So you might feel that you need to sit high in order to see out well, but then everything else feels low. You need to adjust your seats to go down to feel comfortable at this cabin, but then you lose a little bit of visibility. So that's the thing with these new Mercedes-Benzes. I just felt that they don't really care that much, because they care a lot about sticking it to how their brand should represent themselves, and I think they did a damn good job at it. And it is this underlying confidence in Mercedes-Benz now that makes people want to associate themselves with this brand, because you want to know that you will do better tomorrow. You have a better future. All these things, you look forward to it, and that's what this brand is about now. They are so aggressive. They launched a hypercar with a 1.6 liter F1 engine making 1,000 horsepower. They did all this, and I think they are on something. They are on to something. Yep. So kudos to them, and I don't think this will stop anytime soon. This won't stop anytime soon. They are doing a damn good job at it. Yeah. So I don't even know whether I should call this a review, because I discussed so many other things. But if you want a summarized version of it, is this more comfortable than the Volvo S90? Slightly, but that is against the T6. That one has a sport suspension, lowered and all that. Inside here, is it very quiet? Yes, it is super duper quiet. And is it better to drive than the 5 Series? Nope. Nope. The 5 Series handles better, is more comfortable, suspension is way more pliant. But sitting inside here, do I feel more relaxed than either one of them? Yes. The design itself just makes everything different. That's how I felt about this car now. It's like you sit and it's like you sit on your porch at home, or on your balcony, and then you look outward to the skies, and then you have a beautiful ornament or something in front of you, and then you feel good about it. Imagine the dark interior of the 5 Series, very sporty, very dark, everything is black color and all that, and then after a long day at work, you go up the car, you might not feel that it's a relaxing place to be in, even though it is. But this one, it just makes you feel different. Yeah, that's roughly how it is. In terms of spaciousness, I think wow, that Myvi is totally on my lane and oblivious about it. The Volvo S90 is larger. The car, the rear seat space and all that is larger by far. Why you just brought me here? Yep, I guess that's about it. Is this a review?